Hello everybody, it's Carolyn. Welcome to my new video. I got an idea. While I was talking to somebody on Twitter, and I want to see what you think about this. I'm going to do this to the best of my ability, and I invite you all to do it. I'm going to put prompts out for it on Instagram and things like this, but I want to preface by saying this. Right about this time of every year, I post something on my blog or I post something on Instagram and I say, hey, I've got a great idea. Let's all do this together. Like in 2019, at the end of 2019, the idea was hashtag blog 2020. And I was thinking, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to blog about an individual ancestor. Each time it's going to be an enslaver and it's going to tell all the information about that person. And I'm going to put cousin bait out there and it's going to be awesome, right? Okay. I didn't end up doing that because COVID, because contact tracing, and it took over my life and everything back was just completely backburnered to contact tracing. And then at the end of 2020, I thought, I know what I can do. I'll do a podcast series on people's memories of what their families told them about the quality of life during World War II. Did they or did they not participate in the black market? What was rationing like? What was it like to have a family member in the military or to be in the military? Right? Great idea. And it crashed and burned because still COVID, and because for some reason that I can't quite fathom, except maybe to blame my ADD, I don't seem to be able to stay locked onto an idea. So I have all the good intentions in the world, and I just can't seem to rock the concept. So not past a concept stage anyway. But this year, I am going to try really hard. In fact, I'm not just going to try, I'm going to actualize and I'm going to realize a concept for 2022 that will be a real thing. So here it is. Bio a day. Okay, a biography a day. How did this come up? Somebody on Twitter asked, do you write journals? Do you journal for yourself? And my response was, no, I am bone lazy. I have ADD. And I didn't say this, but I am left-handed, which doesn't help. My handwriting is terrible, and it gets worse the older I get. Now, yes, I type very quickly. And I think very quickly. And so, yes, I could, I suppose, sit down and type out, this is what happened today. But let's all be honest and face the facts. I am an extremely grouchy person. I don't like human beings very well. And I get mad about a lot of stuff. Not always rationally. I just do it. And that is how I am. And so one of my fears about journaling is that I wouldn't stay positive, and it would basically be a notebook or a computer file filled with a litany of my grievances against humanity. And that's no good. Even if that's who I am, that's not who I want to leave to future generations. And I have another little complexity involved. I don't have kids. So honestly, even right now, nobody in my family really gives a crap what I think anyway. I seriously doubt that great nieces and great nephews, if they ever do manifest, are going to think anything about what it was that great Aunt Carolyn had to say about this, that, or the other thing. I think they're going to be like, oh yeah, she was grumpy. And that's going to be the end of that. But bio a day, writing a biography a day for each one of my ancestors, just kind of moving through and finding one and working it, that could be cool. So I want to give you a quick breakdown of what it is that I'm thinking, and I want to see what you have to say about this. And we'll see. So, okay, I'm going to move to my first place, and that is to Family Search. Now, this is where I would leave a biography. And that's because there's a wonderful space for it. I will put my mom up. Come on, Mom. There you go. Okay. Now, granted, I'm on my phone. The screen looks slightly different if you are on the computer. But basically what we're looking at is we're looking to go through to, where is it? To memories. And you can write a story. And you can add images and write a story there. Or, where's the other part of it? Okay, I have to look because this way I'm accustomed to it the other way. Let me see. Here it is, Life Sketch. Let me go backwards. So we go to the little plus sign and we go to Life Sketch. Here is where I could theoretically type up my mom's story and then just paste it in. So I could do it in a Google document. I could do it while I'm offline and then I could just paste it in, or I could write it while I'm in here. Where would I get the facts, especially for people I don't really know? Well, that's where I would go over to Ancestry. Now I'm looking at Toby. Toby is Toby Alina, or Aline. I'm not sure how they pronounced it. He is Lord Buckrall, and he is my 10th great grandfather. And this is an interesting line, actually. He can be found, and his kids and grandkids and whatever can be found in Wikipedia, because there's some people getting arrested and being thrown in jail by King James the first, I believe, for preaching and basically wavering from official royal decrees about what religion was. And so there's some fun stuff there. So how would I find information that I could put into a full story on Family Search? Well, I just go to Life Story. This is a really cool thing that Ancestry provides. It extracts information from all of the documentation that you've put in and attached to a person, and it creates a timeline. So it says his name, and it says he was born in this place. This is where he got married. They had blah, 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 and this is what happened. Okay, so what I could do is I could actually get in here, just copy all this, right? I could copy that and then paste it into that life story on Family Search, and then I can augment it. So a better way to look at it would be, let's look at my mom. We're going to go to home person. Home person, that's me. We're going to go back over here, and we're going to look at my dear mama. My dear, lovely, beautiful mama. So here's her life story. Okay. And there's this. Now, the thing for her, of course, is that she was born in 36. She's only showing up in the 1940 census. The 50 census will be out soon enough, but it's going to show that she was at school. The thing about my mom's life, however, is she moved around a ton. And I'm going to be able to nail some of that down either by talking with my uncle or by talking with her brother, that is, or by talking with my dad. Those are the only two people who survive of her generation or older in that family. And I can also look at family photographs. She did 3rd grade in 3 different towns in Arkansas because my grandfather, Warner Fremont Bowers Sr., was a military doctor, and he was moved around all over the country. And they did a year living in Tokyo right after the war in 1946 to 47. Mom did college in 2 different places. She went to Ohio State University, and then she went to the University of Hawaii before marrying my dad. She was also a stewardess. So there are some things that I know about her life, but she moved around so much, I'm going to need to nail that down. I've tried to get hold of my grandfather's military records, no dice. So that's not necessarily going to be so helpful. However, if I go to my grandpa, for instance, he was not a particularly enjoyable person to know, but he did have an interesting life. And if I look at his life story, there it is. And that's the start. But then what I can do, and this is the really important part, if I go back to facts, you can see this is the complete timeline of his life, and I can use it. I actually put in for myself in the education lines what schools he went to in these various places, because he too was a military brat. His parents moved all over the place, and he did school in all different kinds of places. He was born in Indiana, but you can see he starts school in Indiana, then he's in Texas, then he's in Washington, D.C. At one point during his childhood, he lived in the Philippines in the 1910s. As a matter of fact, I think that was between Jeffersonville and San Antonio. And so there's all this information out there, and it's a combination of yearbooks and photographs and census records that show where he was and what he was doing. It shows, in the case of the collections of yearbooks here, which are under sources, that one of those, I gotta get rid of that. Still haven't gotten rid of all those citations. Yikes. I can find various things that he did while he was in school. Was he in the debate club or some kind of a science project or something like that that he worked on? Also, he wrote a lot of books, and I don't even know all of his titles. I can Google his titles, and I can find out what he wrote. He wrote some definitive textbooks about intestinal surgery because he was a gut surgeon in the Army. And he also was a spokesman for the Surgeon General of the Army. And so I can find this information fairly easily. And if I take like an hour and a half, I can write a biography for him that hits dates, it hits places, and it hits accomplishments. And I can type that up, and then I can go over to him on Family Search right there. And I can go to details, and I can go here to his life sketch and type it all in or paste it all in, save it, and then I'm done. I think that's my goal for 2022. I want to keep my goal manageable. I know we're all busy, and I know we all get frustrated. And when you hit a brick wall, this is actually kind of a cool thing to do. It's like, great, I'll work with what I already have. And it doesn't have to be complete. You can always edit a thing later and add stuff. Even just the stuff that I've got right here. As a matter of fact, I will do it this minute. The life story here. Copy it. Go here. Go to life sketch. Paste it. And then save it. There you go. Now he's got a life sketch, and it's a starting place. I can always go back to it later and enhance and augment. I can list his pubs. I can do all the things that I need to do, but that's a start. And that's one day's work. So now I'm done. I don't have to think about this again until tomorrow. But if I get myself into the habit of doing this every day, I think that I can greatly enhance the value of the work that I've done on Family Search. I honestly believe that nobody in the future is going to want to know what it was that I did, what it was that I thought. I don't think anybody's going to care. But I do think that when it comes to looking at our ancestors, it's a valuable thing to be able to put in information from the research that we've done so far. I will let my research speak for me. I will let that be the thing that I leave behind me. And if my niece and nephew are interested, great. And their kids and whoever else comes along, fine. And if they're not interested, that's okay too. I've got cousins out there who probably would be interested. I'm personally going to let that information repose here on Family Search, but there's another place to leave it on Ancestry. And with that, I will leave you. If you go to Ancestry, one of the wonderful things that you've got here is you've got, and where is it? It's, let's see, notes and comments. I can go into notes and I can do that same thing and leave it in notes. And then as I expand the information that I have about him, his pubs list, where he served, all that kind of stuff. He served on the USS Comfort during Okinawa, I believe. So that's something that's interesting. I can add that in there. But in the meantime, it's available. My tree is public. Anybody can access it. And anybody who is accessing Grandpa will be able to find his biography. And that's going to be of some assistance to them. Now, I don't know why anybody would be looking for him. He only had 2 kids. Only one of his kids had kids. So there are not many of us who are descended of him at all. But nevertheless, maybe it's going to be of interest to someone. And once I work on this lineup, the pedigree lineup of these folks, right? Once I get these folks handled, one a day, then what I can do is I can go ahead and I can start to branch out, and I can work on aunts and uncles, and then I can work on grandaunts and uncles, and then I can work on their spouses, and I can work on their kids who are deceased, and I can ultimately touch on every person in my line and in my tree if I so choose. So this isn't going to be a leap year, right? That means that there are 365 days. If I hold myself to the minimum, I can write a bio a day, and at the end of next year, on December 31st, as I'm lifting my glass of fizzy apple juice to toast in the new year, I will have created 365 biographies for public consumption and use that are sourced if necessary, or that are just things that I know from myself and my family. And they will add to the depth and breadth of the work that's available for other people to use and to cherish. So what do you think about that? Shall we do that together? I really want to hear what you have to say about this. So I'm putting this on YouTube, Patreon. Y'all get it first, and then it'll be going out on blast publicly. I'll also be putting this on Instagram, and I am really curious. What do you think about a bio a day for 2022? Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Much love. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe, and I'll be talking to you soon.